What up, dudes? We're going to be starting up on our poop water test, bacteria test. So inside of these bags, there's this little pill of hydrogen sulfide, and that's going to react with the thing. I think that what's going on is basically inside here is chicken broth. It's the stuff you put in your chicken soup and whatnot to make your chicken soup. The chicken soup will grow the bacteria enough for us to be able to identify it, and then the hydrogen sulfide will basically turn it black so we can identify it. I gave you guys a paper inside of, I think I left some for your group up here. If not, I can bring them up, which basically shows you what it looks like if it's positive and what it looks like if it's negative. We ran a test with some poopy water. It's snail poop, by the way, just so you know. This thing is stink. You biologists are pretty crazy. We ran a test. I think this test was done a week ago, and I just held on to the water so that I can show you what a positive result looks like. If it's positive, it will turn black. We ran a test on some swamp water, which is the water we're giving you this morning. Where'd you get the water from?
I got the water from Kawainui Marsh. So, yeah, at this point...
So what's inside of a marsh that could cause the fecal matter?
Ducks.
Ducks.
Exactly. Lots of
There
ducks.
we go. Lots of ducks.
Lots of water fowl at the marsh.
Yep, ducks and duck poop go inside of the water, and so basically you don't want to be drinking water out of that marsh. And to prove it, we're going to test this. But here's the problem. It might take up to 3 days to be able to, for this thing to turn black. If it does turn black, then you know that there is definitely some fecal matter inside of there, or some E. coli and bacteria and stuff that you don't want to be drinking inside of your water. So, if you guys have like a water catchment system, you'll want to run a test like this to make sure that you're not drinking, that kind of bacteria test or bacteria. So, this right here, I would say is a negative, but that's not to say that it's a negative. We just ran this at 9:15 this morning, so it's only had like 2 hours to really brew, and so give it 3 days. I'm sure it will turn black. And just to make sure it turns black, I filled this entire container up with snail poop this morning, and I put it inside of that extra water to make sure it's extra dirty for you folks, so you guys can filter that stuff down there. Super gross. All right, here's how you run it. It's pretty easy. First thing, you wash your hands. And since I don't really care about getting a negative test, you got to make sure you're not contaminating your thing. First thing, you need to wash your hands. Second thing, you need to tear off the top. There's this little plastic thing. You tear it off, and you open this little plastic baggie up. Can you grab me a 100 milliliter beaker and fill that up? All right, second thing. See how it's a little like zip tie attached to a bag, plastic bag? You guys got it? All right, we need 100 milliliters of this water. There we go. Nice and steered for us. Okay. All right, so you want 100 milliliters of this stuff? Ooh, you actually got actual pieces in there. There we go.
Do you want poop in there?
No, I mean,
It is what it is, right?
It is what it is. Hopefully you'll be filtering this stuff out. So we'll use this bag as a control bag. This will be the thing that all of your water is coming from.
Did you guys see the poop? Yeah.
That's been sitting all over my sideboard.
All right,
That's
there you go. That is some poopy water. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we are going to, don't spill the poopy water. It's pretty gross. We're going to take scissors and alcohol wipes. And I'm going to wipe down the alcohol, or wipe down the scissors real quick.
Why do you think we want to do that?
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah,
So what happens if it has germs on it? There we go.
it's going to contaminate it. Good word choice. And so, what if there is some E. coli bacteria on those scissors, right? And there's no E. coli bacteria in the water sample. You're going to end up with a positive test because of contamination.
The problem is you're not controlling your. You guys know what the word is? You're not your variables. Good. So I also not only did I wipe down the scissors, I wiped down the little packet over here. I wiped down at least the part that I was going to cut. I'll cut this off. It's all right. I wiped it down with alcohol. It's sanitized, and all it is chicken broth. Okay. At this point, before you pour it in there, you could actually eat this up. But don't eat anything in this entire
You
lab.
don't eat anything.
All right.
Don't drink the water.
Don't drink the water.
Dehydrate them.
Leptospirosis means death. All right. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull that thing, close it like it's a regular
Watch this part.
CP bag, and then
Watch this
it
part.
doesn't really close. All right. So they say twirl it, and I think that what I'll do is I'm just gonna fold it like this. I'm gonna fold it 3 times. Maybe you can twirl it if you want. That could be very.
I don't think you should
That could
do
be very
this while you're
tenuous.
in front of
Yeah.
us.
Let's just fold it for now.
But you're wearing glasses, so.
No, it doesn't keep everything
All right.
out.
And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fold the little thing
Watch.
backwards, so that it has a no. Well, so it nice and closes. Actually, before I think I skipped a step. There was one thing I want you to do before you guys fill out the bag. When it's still a brand new bag, I want you to put your group name or the group number you're on and what time you started the test and
Very
the day that
important.
you started the test.
Date and time and group.
That way, when this thing turns, we can know exactly how long it took.
So you see how this bag is labeled?
So I labeled the bag. This is the Swamp Water 9:15, 10:20. Today's the 23.
Yeah.
10 or 9:23 for today.
9:23.
Gosh, I'm surprised that one hasn't.
And then you
So-
wanna.
This is just swamp water, though. What we did is we spiked the swamp water, the Kawainui Marsh swamp water, with some.
That still hasn't
Poop.
turned.
This one hasn't turned yet. Yeah.
You know, I was hoping that these tests would turn in like 5 minutes. Like
So
they would
we'll
turn
see.
black in 5 minutes.
We want to try and spike it so it'll turn. If there's any left in your sample, that it'll turn quickly.
So here's what our thoughts are: is because this is like a 3-day, it might be a 3-day test.
We start 3 days before.
Well, we don't know if we can run the bacteria test at the Filter Fest. But what we would do is at the Filter Fest, we'll probably take all of your data in and keep your bags, and then just kind of watch your bags, and then later on we'll tell you if it turned. But for my 7th graders and maybe the 8th graders, I think what we're going to do is we're going to run a test, and we'll keep this bag with us. So wait, we should label ours. Ours was 11:15 is when we started it. And we'll keep this bag with us. This is our control water, and then you guys can bring your bags home with you. Yeah, you guys are like, I'm putting that in my backpack. All right, fine. I'll give you a little Zippy's container. You can put it in the Zippy's container and then take it home with you. You guys can take it home with you and then write down when it turns, if it turns. If it doesn't turn within 3 days, hey, you guys built great filters. Sound good?
Okay. So we're gonna run this test today. And you can collect your data. You can take it home with you and watch it.
11:15.
At the Filter Fest, you're going to need to run your filters twice. So you might need to bring extra supplies. Does that make sense? Because what I cannot spike, here's what I'm afraid of. If I spike this water, like the water that we used today for the phosphates, if I spike that with poop, the phosphate levels will go up even higher. And I want to keep our control phosphates at like a 4.
Same goes with the nitrates.
So that you guys can have some chance for success. We're going to run your filter with this once, collect that data just like we did today. And then we're going to use spiked poop water to run it again. So you may need to bring more substrate, more coffee filters, more whatever you're using to reconstruct your filters to run the second test. Because if you have some of that water in there, it could spike it even higher. Does that make sense? Because you want to control it as much as possible. Alrighty?
So we want to do 1 liter of water. So I guess we'll do 500 milliliters of that, 500 milliliters of that. That will be your 1 milliliter of water. Maybe.
1 liter.
We'll try to figure something
today,
out.
today I'm just not having them do a liter. They just did a half a liter.
Oh
Today.
yeah. I'm just doing 100 milliliters.
Yeah.
All right. Any questions about how to run a poop test?
Okay.
I shouldn't call it that. It's a bacteria test.
So, what you guys need to do now, you can actually dispose of